Welcome back. I'm Denver 7's Micah Smith, live in 5 Points. And our next story tonight, he broke barriers on the field and then broke them again in the skies. Denver 7 Sports Director Lionel Bienvenu is honoring Lieutenant Colonel John Mosley, a 5 Points native whose legacy lives on far beyond the scoreboard.
One of the focal points of 5 Points in the Whittier neighborhoods is Manual High School. It opened in 1892. They've won 26 state sports championships along the way. So many great athletes have come through those doors, but none more impactful or more important than Lieutenant Colonel John Mosley. He was valedictorian here in 1939, but that was just the beginning of the legacy that he left on this neighborhood and the entire state of Colorado. Lieutenant Colonel Mosley faced discrimination and racial obstacles and roadblocks his entire life, but he overcame them all and became the first black football letterman at CSU in 1940. He was also an all-conference wrestler and class vice president in his junior and senior years. After he graduated, he again fought to join the Air Force and the world-famous Tuskegee Airman. He flew combat missions in the Korean and Vietnam Wars, and after he retired, he dedicated his life to public service. I met his son Eric, also an Air Force command pilot, to talk about his father's legacy, and Eric told me it wasn't easy for his dad growing up in this neighborhood nearly 100 years ago, but he loved the people here in 5 Points.
You know, the kind of people that Dad grew up with were quality people with incredible work ethics, you know, role models that I think inspired him to excel in all that he did. Whatever the obstacle, whatever the challenge is, that with hard work that you can succeed. It wasn't without failure from time to time, but he was always able to get up, brush himself off, and do whatever was necessary to reach his goals.
And just last year, John Mosley's number 14 was retired at CSU across all men's and women's sports. A final tribute to the man who touched so many lives and inspired so many to be great.
You know, his legacy lives on, his spirit certainly lives on. It was something that brought our family and I think the entire community just a real sense of pride, and I think more importantly in the pride in what he and the rest of the Tuskegee Airmen did, but just as an example of what they can do, you know, if they set their minds to it, in spite of the obstacles, in spite of all the challenges, in spite of personal circumstances, you know, that is something, if he could do it, then perhaps I could do it too.
Lieutenant Colonel John Mosley passed away in 2015 at age 93, but he remains a 5 Points legend, leaving behind a legacy of service, grit, determination, and a never give up mentality, something that this neighborhood is pretty much all about. I'm Lionel Bienvenu, Denver 7 News.